Okay. Bill and Katie, thank you for joining me for the first step in kind of the path to financial freedom. I'm excited to have you guys here and excited to kind of explain the journey that we envision for people. So thank you.
Happy to be part of it.
Awesome. Okay, so I'd like to start, Bill, with you and just kind of talk through, everything that we've kind of learned and have been taught at this point is there's a pyramid that you need to kind of get in place and have a kind of sound base to get yourself started. And so talk to us, the first thing on the base is physical health, which kind of seems counterintuitive to a financial freedom class. So why is that important?
Well, yeah, so people are generally happier when they're healthier. So it helps you to enjoy things you do in life. Most self-help books are going to say the first step towards improving your physical health is increasing your level of exercise.
Okay, and that makes sense. And is that, like, to me, it's kind of important because if I'm at home and I'm worried about I can't get out of bed because my back hurts and I have all these issues, well, now I can't even go out and do the job I need to do to start working to make money to create financial freedom, right? Like, everybody, we see that one of the number one spots that people get into financial trouble is when their health fails, right?
Absolutely.
So our goal here is to kind of set the foundation at, hey, let's get healthy.
Right, for sure.
Okay, great. So then now we're healthy, right, Katie? And we go, all right, great. I'm not worried about that. I'm getting out of bed with a spring in my step. And now I'm ready to get going. But why am I even getting going? I got to have something to go for. So the number 2 thing on our list is purpose. And explain to us a little bit about that, Katie.
Having a sense of purpose in your life is essential to well-being. Equally important is having a sense of purpose in your role at work, not just collecting a paycheck. When you have a sense of purpose at work, you feel passionate, innovative, and committed. You become a team player and support the entire organization, which drives it forward.
Okay, so if I'm thinking about that, so I get out of bed, I'm healthy, and now I'm saying, hey man, for me to bring the best to the world that I can, I got to be really happy and have a purpose in what I do every day, right? So I got to feel good about where I'm showing up. I got to feel like I'm contributing, because if I'm not doing these things, then it makes it hard, and you see that in today's world where people, they can't work as much. We're in the middle of a COVID crisis right now, and people are at home and they're getting more depressed. And then when they get more depressed, that kind of cycle goes down. So it's important to us that, number 1, you're healthy. Number 2, you feel like what you're doing every day is purposeful, right? So then you can go to the third step, which is, I got out of bed, I'm pretty happy. I feel like I'm contributing through the course of the day and doing things that help the world be a better place. And now that's going to help me be better at what, Bill?
The relationships are the next one. I mean, we have a core value here of having a positive attitude. People like to be around people that they like, and you're spending 70% of your time at work. So we want to have good work relationships, but we also want you to have good home relationships. At the end of the day, it's all about good relationships.
Right. So what's the point of being financially free and having a bank statement that you can show to somebody and go, hey, look at what I have, when there's nobody to share it with, right?
Exactly.
So if you're focusing on that and passing on the relationships, that's a mistake. So now our pyramid's growing. We're in good health. We feel like we got a purpose in life. We have great relationships at home. Now we get into what? What's the next step, Katie?
Finances. So don't just think about achieving financial freedom, really work at it. You can use our roadmap, the one sheet, as a starting point. Here you can lay out your income, expenses, and more to get a clear idea as to where you are on the path.
Okay, so now we're saying, all right, again, this is a financial freedom thing. So now we finally get to finances, number 4, and we're saying, hey, look, you got to have a target to go for, and the way to kind of work through this finances and this target is to use our one sheet and these different things to say, hey, I've got it, just like at work, in our work in an EOS system, everybody has a number. Well, now with finances, you can use the one sheet to create a number for yourself and a target, right? So now it's giving you a much clearer path of where to go. And so now, physically healthy, have great purpose and sense of accomplishment at work, great relationships at work and home. I got a target for my financial freedom. And if all that happens, then what do I get to do, Bill?
Well, now you get to the fun part. You're giving back. So, what makes people happy is, when they're doing stuff for other people, and you can give back in the forms of money, time, sharing knowledge, lots of ways to.
So, Bill, if you were to think about that and think about giving back from your perspective, what's the thing when you give back? What makes you the happiest? Gives you the best sense of accomplishment when you're giving back? Because you do a lot of that stuff.
It's a good question. I just always like to feel. It's like the feeling I get inside of actually helping somebody else. With the mortgage company we started, helping somebody buy the most expensive thing they'll ever buy in their life. It's the sense of joy that they get, and I became part of their joy. It's amazing.
How about you, Katie? I mean, I like to focus on this because, when you master the financial pyramid, you get to do the fun thing, which is give back. And I know that we're doing a lot of things to give back, and you're always there. What would you talk about if we were to bring that topic up?
The biggest thing for me is probably the simplest part of it, and just getting to see the reactions of the people that you're helping, the smiles, sometimes the tears. It all makes it all worth it.
Okay. And do you guys feel like, when you get there, that's the most impactful for you of your kind of this sense of purpose, the giving back, the most impactful, or how do you feel about that?
I absolutely do.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, great. So our goal is to get people there, and this roadmap gets you there, and the impact that you're going to feel and the way your life is going to change if you go down this road is going to be significant. Okay, so now we have this great pyramid and a great base and idea how we're going to get there. So let's get into the next section and say, well, if this is such a great thing, then generally what is holding people back, or what's the biggest problem? And generally what we've seen, Katie, is what's the number one problem that keeps people from doing this?
Believing you can do it. So think of your one sheet as your financial freedom scorecard. Take action based on what it tells you versus what your goals are. To get the results you want, it is important to create empowering patterns.
Okay, so I'm going to stop and just ask a little bit about that, right? And say, so what do you think trips people up about the belief about this? Do you think it's, hey, I don't think I could ever get there? Do you think it's, I'm afraid to even know what my situation is? Where do you think people get stuck in that belief process?
I think it's a combination of both. First, people might not think that they have enough money to even start on a path like this. Or really know their situation at hand. It might seem like it's unattainable, and that can be discouraging for people, and they just don't know where to start.
Yeah, so a lot of it's not knowing where to start. So I'm going to tell you something that I believe this to be true, and if it's not true, it's close enough to true that we're going to use it. And here's, the number one, my understanding is the number one fear of people is public speaking, right? And the number two fear of people is what? You want to take a guess, Bill?
Not have enough money when they retire. I don't know.
Running out of money before they die. That's exactly right. So my take on it is that the biggest belief hurdle here is that people are so afraid that they're going to find out that they're going to run out of money before they die that they decide to avoid the topic altogether, right? And so we know, and we believe that the one sheet will show you that there are clear paths to getting there no matter where you're at in your journey. And we need to change that belief paradigm for people. And that's what this is about, right? We think we can do that. So, okay, if we're able to change people's beliefs and get them to feel like that this is really attainable, what's really the next step in getting there, Bill?
But it's leverage. Leverage and motivation. I mean, leverage is going to come in, a couple different forms. It comes in the form of time, people, money. For years, I would tell the loan officers or the real estate agents to find people to help them do the things that they don't like to do so that they can focus on selling. Another example, and money leverage is buying a property. If you buy an investment property, let's say it's a $100,000 investment property. You put $20,000 down and the bank gives you $80,000. You're leveraging $80,000 of the bank's money to get an asset, and then someone else is going to pay it off for you, your tenant.
Right. So the idea is that, you could go the route of just kind of trying to grind it out, saving, and that'll get you so far. But if you can create leverage and create a way to own assets that are more than the money you have to put into them, long term, that's going to make a huge difference for people, right?
Absolutely. Just ramps it.
Okay, and the good news is, we're talking about these concepts, but when people actually get into this one sheet and start to fill it out, there's graphs and formulas and all this stuff that'll actually show what that leverage does for you.
Right.
And it's going to be really impactful when we get there. So let's begin to define what people want financially, Katie. How do you start that process, right? Because in order to get there, you kind of have a vision, right? So now we're excited about doing it, but let's create some real motivation, like Bill said. How do you start that process?